Welcome to the Inner Practice. I'm Jackie Vandertoon. Today's episode comes to you from the dining area of the Bodhi Tree Yoga Resort in Nosara, Costa Rica. We're surrounded by the lush jungle, the call of birds, and the gentle sounds of the resort around us. In this conversation, Michele, Salchurt, and Sabine and Maarse reflect on what yoga means to them as mothers, career-driven women, and travelers. Sabine shares her experiences of overwhelmed, long work hours and how the calm she builds through yoga brings calm to herself and the dog she works with. Michele speaks to being swept up in the busyness of life and how yoga helps her return to peace, clarity, and connection. Together, we explore how yoga creates community, grounding, and return to self no matter where life takes them. Settle in. Visualize the beauty around you and the ocean nearby as you listen to this heartfelt conversation from the Costa Rican jungle. I'm so excited because I'm chatting with Sabine and Michele today, and we are in beautiful Costa Rica at the Bodhi Tree Resort. How are you enjoying it so far?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gorgeous here.
Tell me about your favorite part so far.
Oh my goodness, it's my favorite part so far. You know what? I guess what we came here for is the yoga practice, the food. Seeing the monkeys today made me very happy.
That's awesome. I'm so glad you saw some monkeys.
The beach, of course.
Boogie boarding.
Boogie boarding.
A little adult beverages.
Yeah, on occasion.
Yeah, yeah.
Little live music.
Little live music. Yes, yes. How about you? Favorite part so far?
I think the boogie boarding, the 5 a.m. club.
The 5 a.m. boogie boarding club.
That is not me. Everyone who is looking at my Instagram or my kids, when I send them messages, they're like, Mom, you 5 a.m.? Because I would never get up at 5 a.m.
And we're hitting some really nice waves.
Oh my goodness. But it's also Sabina who's helping me do it, because she's like, okay, it's 4:45. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah. And you have been.
Every morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love it.
Yeah. And how's the yoga been so far?
I love it. The teachers have been so diverse, but all excellent in their own way. Yeah.
Did you know that this was going to be what it was like when you got here? Because this is your first times here at the Bodhi Tree. It's your second time. Okay, so Sabine's been here 2 times. Michele, this is her first time.
My first time. I was hoping this is what it was going to be like. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping that the architecture was going to be like this. I was hoping that all of the guests were going to be really chill, kind, and nice. And they are. Yeah, I love this place.
So if you were to recommend going on a yoga retreat, what would you recommend?
I would recommend that they come here, for sure. Yeah, not to be a negative Nelly, but it was just, that 2.5-hour drive from the airport.
We are in Nosara, Costa Rica, and it is a long drive, even though it's only like 60 or 70 kilometers or something like that. So,
It makes a long travel day.
It does. But the venue organized it perfectly. All the bands were there. There was like no guessing or where are they. It was like perfect.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yoga in your life. So how, do you do a lot of yoga? Have you done a lot of yoga? So tell me a little bit about Michele and yoga.
I started to do yoga when I was in my late 20s. And as I moved around the world, it's one of the first things I did when I would move to a new country is I would find my yoga class.
That's really interesting.
Like, get the kids in a school and then find my yoga class.
Yeah. So you've been doing yoga for a while.
Yeah.
Not to date you, but it's been more than 10 years.
30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
How about you, Sabine?
Actually, Michele kind of introduced me to yoga because when I arrived in Chile, got the boys into school, and then was looking for my community, And Michele said, do you do yoga? And I said, no, but I've always been curious about it. And she said, let's find a yoga studio. And we found an exceptional teacher who had studied in India. She'd lived in India for a couple of years. And so my intro was a pretty beautiful one because it was like a hardcore vinyasa teacher. But she really taught us the Ashtanga, right?
We were doing primary series Ashtanga for
That's
2
right,
years,
Ashtanga.
3 days a week.
Yeah.
How do you motivate yourself to do something like Ashtanga? Are you pretty active? Are you like...
I am one of the most sedentary people you will ever meet. I am an indoor cat in my little sun pool.
Wow.
Yeah, but I love yoga.
Okay.
I do. My body craves that stretch, that...
You are a cat. You like to stretch.
I do, yeah. My body just craves yoga. I've tried different sports, do not appeal to me at all. I am not a competitive person. And so for me, yoga is yourself, right? I mean, sometimes your vision strays to other mats, and you really shouldn't do that. But I like it because it's your own individual thing, and you progress at your own rate, and your accomplishments can be so minute, but they're special to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Sabine?
Yeah, it introduced me just to being that real connection to your body. Like any other kind of sports that I've done, you just kind of do it without that whole mind-body breath connection. Mm-hmm. So it did teach me a bit more about being really present in it and really making that connection between movement, breath, and different muscles in your body, and it kind of just helps you to know yourself better.
Mm-hmm. So Sabine, take me back to before you found yoga. What was life kind of like? Were you like an athlete? Were you a runner? What did you do for movement or for yourself?
Yeah, really honestly not a ton. Like I did a number of sports a bit casually, but I was never a competitive athlete. I was a runner, like, as a kid and stuff, but I was really caught up in career and raising 2 boys, and so my life really revolved around building my career and being a mom to 2 very active boys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And can you describe what life, like, it was just so jam-packed, or was it kind of like, can you describe to me a little bit, not just the busyness of the day, but kind of like emotionally, mentally, spiritually, where were you at that point?
Yeah,
if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, I was overwhelmed because I was at a stage in my career where I was, really pushing to get to the next level of kind of executive management. So that's a hard one to break into, and I was working long hours, and then the boys were just in a lot of activities. So they were playing competitive sport, and that means you're on the road with them a lot, and so my focus was not really on my well-being. It was on accomplishing and caring for them. And I did lose myself a little bit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And I think that's common with many women is, raising children, being that primary caregiver. I mean, your spouse, I'm sure, was there at the time, but it always seems to fall on that mother kind of figure. Why do you think that is? Is it just because, are women just born nurturers, or is it written in a contract someplace? Like, why do we give ourselves away to the world?
Yeah, well, I think we're so in love with our kids,
Yeah. Yeah.
They're your everything, and you just want to make, all your time, you just want to dedicate to making sure that they've got the best start and the best opportunities. And so, yeah, you do tend to, I think, work your life around them. But some women recognize it sooner that they need to look after themselves. I didn't recognize it really soon enough.
Right.
I mean, I got there, but
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
think I would have been, I think, a healthier person, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually, and the whole being, if I would have found yoga 10 years earlier.
Right, interesting. How about you? Like, what was life like, Michele, for you before you found yoga? From not just that busyness, but a little bit probing deeper into that.
Yeah, well, I wasn't doing yoga from a really young age, but like late 20s. And I wasn't career motivated, but I was studying a lot. And it was just hours of reading, hours of studying. I had no time to even read a lovely book of my own. And then I'd always been curious about yoga. But I came from a really, really, really small town. And they didn't have yoga in my little town. And so when we moved somewhere where I heard there was a yoga studio, I joined immediately just so I could find out about it. And yeah, so I guess before yoga, I was searching for yoga. And then I found it. And then, like I said, everywhere we moved, and we moved to a new country every 4 years.
Wow.
For about 30 years.
Wow.
I would find that yoga studio, and then that would ground me. That would, even if I didn't become like best friends with the people in the yoga class, it was just like-minded people, a very calming space, because, I was trying to make a life for my family. My husband would just go straight to work, and there I was. He came home once and he said, "Have you made us any friends yet?"
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because loneliness is huge.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we're in an epidemic of loneliness right now where my own thought is we tend to go back into our phones and our TVs, and we've got all the stuff, but I think we lose connection. So I'm curious if you can talk a little bit more about the connection you find with yoga.
Yeah, I guess it's just when you walk into a yoga studio and just the pre-chit-chat, you talk about, where you've done yoga before, and then that leads to other things like, have you been to a retreat before? Or even just like you're asking now, how did you come to yoga, and why are you in this yoga class right now? And yeah, we talk about things like that, and then there's that connection. Even if it's just for that hour and a half, once a day, in that class, you've got someone waiting for you, someone that you can work beside with, who is encouraging. Everyone in the yoga class wants everybody else to get something from it. Yeah.
What about you, Sabine? What does yoga give to you? Now, we talked about community, but maybe you can talk about community or something that you gravitate or get from a yoga class.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something more specific for me. In the last couple of years, I've added the gym to my routine because I'm in my 60s and I need to build bone strength. So I've added that, and one thing that I've noticed with doing more time in the gym is it has really elevated my yoga practice. It has, built that muscle, and it's kind of re-energized my yoga practice. It makes it more fun when you're not grunting your way through, when you can power through it. It's satisfying, and I love the feeling of strength, and I think it's an important one. And it's not just body strength, it is mind strength, and just having that confidence in yourself. I know you talked a little bit about mantra. I often, my first thought often when I get on my mat is, I am strong, and it's a good message.
Yeah. I've talked on this podcast before that my mantra is, I am strong, I am capable, and I'm enough. And that came from a place where I didn't feel that. And I remember the first time I was running up a hill, because I trail run, and I was feeling really down, like I'm not fast enough, I'm not strong enough, like all those negative words. I'm like, I can't keep doing this. So I just say it. And it just, I'm still not fast, but it just taught me that, you know what, when I say the words, I eat the words. And then it helps me propel myself up the hill. So I appreciate that, and I love the fact that you're using that strength, because strength for me is not my physical strength, it is my emotional strength. So can you talk a little bit about that strength component mantra that you're talking about?
Yes, I find that, you know, it's a beautiful balance between doing gym and yoga, because you're kind of building the strength with weight at the gym, but then the yoga is more community based in a way, and also it really stretches those muscles out in a beautiful way, so they complement each other really nicely. And then the breath control also helps in both places, right? The better that you learn your body and your breathing, the better that you can engage where you need to. It helps you to be stronger in a way that's safe, which is really important as you're, you know, getting a little bit older too. Yeah, it's all of it. That's the, you know, it sounds so. It is. It's all of it combined.
And I love hearing that, because oftentimes, I mean, I grew up thinking yoga is only stretching, right? And I hear colleagues saying, well, yoga's just stretching. Here, let me give you some stretching programs, or I can teach yoga because it's just stretching. And the more that I get into it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it is a little tiny bit of stretching, and then it was so much more. So I think we can all agree that yes, we stretch. Yeah. Yes, we stretch, and we feel better when we stretch. But what I'm interested in is the more. Like, what is the more that you get from the yoga, if you don't mind sharing?
What some of my least favorite yoga classes are the ones where we go in and it's like someone from a gym. Like you go into a gym membership yoga class and it's just, okay, everybody, downward dog. And then 45 minutes later it's done and everyone's clapping, yeah, we just did a yoga class. And I'm profoundly disappointed when that is the yoga class. I get so much more from talking about intention, talking about where you're coming from, what you're trying to put out. Like, to me, that is the important stuff about yoga.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Starting your class. I mean, this is what I do, and I teach is set your intention, right? And let me offer you some intentions. Sometimes I have some, and sometimes I'm like, I don't know any today. But I love it when the instructor says, come back to your intention, to give that gentle reminder, why are you here, right? And it can be, I'm here to stretch, I'm here to get strong, I'm here to find peace or grounding.
I'm here to fulfill the commitment I made to myself that I was going to do yoga.
Right.
Like, get on your mat.
Right.
Just get on your mat and do some yoga. And even if you just cannot do that wild thing, I mean, you're there for a reason and you made it. And you had an intention, right? And you met your intention.
Right. Simply showing up.
And then that, just like a wave, can go through your whole day. That your intention started and it will continue. And that you started your day in a really strong, emotional way.
Yeah. How about you, Sabine?
Yeah, it's honestly much the same. Yeah, I do love classes that marry all of that, you know, that have that really physical presence too, so that when you leave you feel like really everything is working well together.
Everything's been lubricated and stretched and
it's that beautiful movement. But I do like something where I like when the person leading the class does so with a real authenticity, and you can feel that they truly believe in what they're sharing. And there's so many teachers and so many different styles, and yeah, when you find the teacher that resonates for you, that's a really beautiful thing. And yeah,
I remember the first time I cried on the mat, and I was mortified. I was like, what the heck is going on with my head? Because I'm here to stretch. And that was my awakening into, there's more to this than just stretching. You know, and it's the poet. I'm very lucky. Some of our instructors do poetry, setting the intention, the music. But I never have cried lifting weights in the gym. I may have dropped a weight on my foot that caused me to cry, but I've not cried in any other way. And I have a
heart openers.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and I have a lot of people who come to my class and are like, I'm so embarrassed I cried. And I'm like, it's okay. Everybody does. Everybody does. So can you talk a little bit, like, does yoga give you that sense of, for me it's very emotional at times, but maybe you can talk to me a little bit, maybe the spiritual aspect, the emotional aspect, like when you're on the mat, do you get other things that well up where you feel?
Not so much during my practice. I guess I'm pretty mindful of just what I'm working on. But I guess in Shavasana, things start to, go through your head. And I don't know if it's because we've done this physical thing and we're just kind of run out. And then you lay down in Shavasana, and all the stuff that has been riled up and moved around in your body, and your teacher is talking about intention, and it's all there, right? It's all there. Then you lay down, and sometimes it just you melt into your mat, and it's lovely, and other times you melt where the tears are just coming out of your eyes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There was a podcast that was done, a while ago about radical rest, and it really struck me about the word radical rest, because in North America, rest is radical. We're not supposed to rest, right? And I think for me, that Shavasana, although it's very hard to control my mind, it's an opportunity I'm going to rest until the instructor says to get up. So I'm going to take the time just to rest.
And isn't that nice, where you don't have any control over that rest time, right? Mm-hmm. Your teacher will tell you when it's time. You don't have to lay there and think, oh, I've been laying here for 2 minutes and I've got things to do. I should just get up now. No, you're in Shavasana and you just get to lie there until your teacher says, okay.
Yeah. So yoga gives you a lot of stuff on the mat. How about off the mat? Like, are you able to take stuff that you've learned, like that rest, that community, are you able to take those tools off the mat?
One that really stands out for me is because I work with dogs. Sometimes I'll be in a room with 15 or 16 dogs, and if I've got some that are quite anxious or just like their energy is a little bit too frayed, sometimes I will just stand in the middle of the room or the space outside with them, and I'll do a mountain pose, and I'll close my eyes and I'll just deep breathe. And every single time it amazes me how the pack shifts and their whole energy turns kind of inward and they all settle. And most times they'll focus on me. Sometimes, you'll have some of the puppies that will still kind of go off and play. But you can shift the energy by just closing your eyes and doing some really beautiful deep yogic breaths and just thinking calm. You're not saying a word to the dogs. The quieter the better. And Yeah, I always think it's like a superpower. I find it so cool. And I would have never thought to do that with my dogs
Yeah.
if it weren't for yoga.
But the fact that it's not even a human being, so they don't know what you're doing, but there's something in the energy that you are changing to alter their energy level as well. Have you tried that with humans? I'm not saying like go into the middle of the room and just do a mountain pose and close your eyes when you're in a, crazy family Thanksgiving dinner or something.
Well, I do remember doing it with my younger son, who sometimes his emotions were too big for him. Just do the bear hug, which is, I didn't know the breath work part of it back then, but I knew the, like, holding somebody, So that's the only thing I can think of. I tend to be a fairly quietly centered person to begin with. So I have people who comment to me that I'm, very calming. And I think yoga has just made me feel more comfortable with that. Not try to be something that I'm not. Sometimes you kind of feel from, especially in a group environment, maybe I should be a bit more gregarious, but that's not who I am. And I think yoga has helped me to say it's cool to be calm.
I love that.
I love that too.
Yeah.
I really do.
I love that because you're right. I think we're conditioned to be, I'm an introvert. So when my battery's done, I am done. I can be outspoken, but there are times that I'm just like, today I'm not feeling it, but I have to. I have to act today. And yoga gives you that permission. Just be, you know what, I'm going to be my authentic self, and I'm not going to wear that mask of a place of discomfort. So I'm so happy that you're able to, have that Sabine mask instead of whatever mask you put on to be out in the world. That is wonderful.
And it's turned out in what I do with the dogs that it's been a real gift.
Yeah.
That is seriously, that is really, really cool. That yoga has kind of taught you that you're okay to be the quiet person.
Yeah, I love that. How about you, Michele? What's like the takeaway from you from being on the mat to off the mat?
I don't know. I think I forget really quick. That's a problem. It's like I'm in the room, I love it, I'm thinking my intention, I'm this person, and then I go out and I'm in traffic and I'm swearing at cars but I think that when I was doing a daily practice, that knowing that I was going to go back the next morning, I could reset.
Right.
And I'm finding that I haven't done yoga like daily for a few years now, and I miss that reset. I really do. And being at this retreat has opened it up again for me, where it's like, yes, this is important to me. This is important to me emotionally, physically, and I do need that reset, and I've got to make the time, and I love it.
But I think you mentioned a really important word. This is a practice. This isn't a one and done. This isn't, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to do yoga, I'm going to be mindful, and the rest of my life, I don't have to do it again. This is a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, coming back to those grounding practices that help you fight traffic.
It's so true.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah, you can't just do it once. And I, you know what, I hate to say that it's a philosophy, because some people think, I met one woman who said, I don't believe in yoga because I'm a Christian.
Right.
And so that's why I'm hesitant to say philosophy in front of people, because I'm like, no, it's not a religion. It's just a way of thinking, it's just a way of thinking. There's so many different ways of thinking. But I think this one is just more gentle,
Yeah.
kinder,
Yeah.
mindful. Yeah, and so I do need that.
It's giving to yourself and giving to the world, right? Like, I can't give to the world when my battery is depleted. And, being mindful of my energy affects others. So when I'm in a chaotic way, those around me are going to feel that as well. So I like, that is my take home. I love that my energy is affecting others. And if I want to calm the situation, maybe I need to look in the mirror first and go back to calming myself.
Yeah, it's like maybe I need a bit of yoga and self-reflection when I'm having my road rage in the car, not just the guy that was a jerk and cut me off. Yeah.
So one of the things I'm fascinated by is the spiritual component, and that's where you look at people and like it's just stretching or whatever. But you did mention about your Christian friends, and I'm a Christian, and I get this all the time with, you practice yoga, as if I have horns coming out of my head, because I must also be a devil worshiper, right? And it's like, well, if you go to the sutras, blah 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 blah. Yoga to me is very spiritually grounded. Like, at the end of my practice, I pray. So I pray at the end of all of my practices, and that's my sense of spirit, right? Can I ask you what you think about that word? And maybe you're like, oh, I never thought about that before. Like, spirit, it's not part of where I am. How do you integrate spirit, if you do at all?
Top of my head, I wouldn't say I do integrate spirit. I am a bit more pragmatic.
Yeah.
So I think it's real that if you can be intentional, then you will be intentional to other people, to other situations, and intentional meaning no one is going to say, I'm intentionally going to be this mean, ugly, nasty person. I don't think anyone, even a mean, ugly, nasty person, would want to be that intention. Mm-hmm. So my intention would just be to be kind and you know, the old treat others as you would have them treat you. Mm-hmm. And I think for me, yoga and thinking and calming brings me there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I should reword it a little bit. Maybe it's more a word of more existentialism, right? Like your existence, your purpose. Mm-hmm. Does yoga help kind of frame your purpose or give you that purpose? Like you said, to be kind, to love one another as you do yourself.
I don't think I've made it to that level.
Okay. All right.
Just to be
by all means.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all on a journey.
Yeah.
Right? And our journey is, we're all at different spots, and that's why I love this podcast. Is you know, maybe there's some listeners that are like, I never even thought yoga gives you a purpose. Right? That intention is my purpose for the day. You know, maybe. So how about you, Sabine?
I think about how yoga has helped me in a kind of on a spiritual side around grief. So losing my sister, I think I take tools from my yoga practice of just looking within and thinking about, you know, where I am in a physical space on the mat, but then knowing that my sister in some ways is on the mat with me too, and she's obviously not in this physical space, but I really do feel her spirit, her soul. I think that yoga just helps me through my grieving. And we shared yoga. That was one of the things that we did together. Every week we would meet, and so I do feel her presence there. So for me, that spiritual is just maybe more, I really don't fear death. I don't want to say I welcome it, but I kind of look forward to reconnecting with my sister.
Right, that's powerful.
So and I'm not sure would have seen it that way without the kind of reflections that I do on my yoga mat.
Yeah. And some yoga teachers, I don't do this enough, which I really should, is yoga is built on the teachings of others, right? And so many yoga instructors will honor their previous teachers because that's what brought them here. And I love that about your sister, honoring your sister and remembering that shared gift you had each other and knowing that she's there with you, in whatever realm or whatever context, if it's in your heart or if it's beside you, like wherever. But I love that from that component of your spirit, honoring your sister.
And she gives me strength. Sometimes when I'm in a chaturanga or I'm in a plank and I just feel like I just want to just drop to the mat, she comes in my mind, and I sometimes I almost feel like she's holding me up.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. That is so beautiful. So, if you have a friend and your friend says, so why do you do yoga? What would you say would be the number one reason why you do yoga? What is it about yoga that keeps you coming back?
I can't say it's the physical poses, because I'm not interested in sports. I wasn't a very physical, sporty kid or anything. Although I love it. My body craves it. It really, really does crave these poses. And even though I said I'm kind of pragmatic, and I go because I'm getting something else. And I don't know what it is. I actually maybe I couldn't answer the questions before is because I really don't know what it is. But I know I'm getting something when I go and get on the mat. Yeah.
So its level of importance to you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it seems to be pretty high.
Very high. Very high. Yeah.
How about you, Sabine? What would be the number one reason, if you're put to task, why you do yoga?
Well, I know sometimes when people make that, if you ended up on a deserted island, what would you take? Honestly, I would take a yoga mat, because it's that entire mind, body, spiritual, it's that full connection where you can find yourself.
If somebody is out there looking, because I assume some of the listeners here are interested. Some of them might be yogis that have been doing it forever, and some of them might be, interested in stepping into the water. What would be the reason why they should try it if they haven't?
I think, again, it's not just for the physical poses, although I think they're very important. I think they're very important because it brings consciousness to your body, your own body. You are really aware of that leg. You were really aware of that baby toe when you were bending over in, some pose. It really does bring primary awareness to your body. But again, for me, it's give it a try because it's more. And I can't tell you what you're going to get out of it. I can't. But I think you will get something out of it.
I'm a geek. I'm a research geek. And one of the things that I love is working with trauma. I don't work with trauma people, but, the research looks at individuals, veterans who struggle with PTSD. And I have difficulty understanding this because I don't have PTSD. But that disembodiment, right? I don't feel my feet. I don't feel my hands. All I feel is this sense of panic, this sense of trauma. And what they find is that using those embodiment, feel your feet, feel your hands, helps them in their recovery. And it is, I find that fascinating. And, the mountain pose, simply tuning into your feet, getting out of your head. And let's just find your feet.
And how strong do you feel standing in mountain pose?
Yeah. It's my number one favorite pose for that very reason, to go back to I am strong. You can't push me over, mentally or physically,
When you're in mountain pose.
when I'm in mountain pose. I am the strongest woman in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that strength piece. And that would be why I would say, just step on the mat. And even if it doesn't resonate with you the first time, give it a really fair chance. Go back to it multiple times. Go to different studios, go to different teachers, because you could have a first class with someone you just don't resonate with and think, it's not for me, or a style of yoga that doesn't speak to you. There's so many different types, and whether it's more physical or more meditative or more of any kind of combination.
Or even the people who attend that particular class.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not going to be comfortable taking a class with 25-year-old hard bodies who are just beautiful and can kick that up. Maybe you would get something more out of a mixed class with men and women, or older women, or like feel your way through it.
Yeah.
You brought up something that's really interesting, and maybe it's just me, so I'd like you guys to comment on it. I actually feel more beautiful now than I did before, and it's because I feel stronger inside and out, but I feel my posture just is constantly demonstrating that I am strong and I'm beautiful both inside and out, because I get that
You are.
kindness, right?
True.
Yeah. How does that make you feel? I don't know. I just thought of that now, but you mentioned it. So, any thoughts as to that
beauty?
inner? Yeah. Well, not just beauty, but that as women, you're always being judged, and
Oh, yes.
maybe it's my age, maybe it's I don't know. I just feel more.
I definitely feel stronger and more content in who I am. It's a combination of a lot of things, but yoga definitely has played a role in it.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I feel really proud of myself when I get to my yoga class and I really try, and because I really try hard, and not just say, I don't want to do this one. I am there to get something out of this yoga class. And I guess I do when I leave. I feel proud of myself.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
makes you feel better about it. If you're proud about yourself, I'm kind of proud of myself when I go to yoga class and do my best.
Absolutely, and you should be, right? And you should be, because, and I often say the hardest part about movement is getting out the door. And if all you do is lay on the mat, you get out the door and you made community, and you listen to music, or you set in, like, whatever you got out of it, it's not just stretching.
No, it's not just stretching.
So once again, we are at a beautiful yoga retreat in Costa Rica. What would you tell somebody who's considering, a retreat? You just hang around the pool, you eat good food, you do all of that. Yeah. What would you say to somebody about thinking of going on to a retreat?
Yeah, you might find something again that you had no idea. You might find a new best friend. You might be introduced to boogie boarding in the waves. You
Might be introduced to different music that you would have never listened to at home.
True.
Yeah.
Just experience life. If it's within your reach, say yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I didn't know you guys. What did we 5 days or 7 days? I didn't know you guys.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot together this week, and I am really happy that connection was made. And that's one of the beautiful things you take away, I think, is there's that community again, going back to it's not just you on the mat, it's you and people who are experiencing the same. Yeah. So, Michele, what would you tell somebody who's like, I don't know, should I do a retreat? Should I not? Is it worth it? It's expensive.
I would say do your research. Find, because there's so many different retreats out there. So many. Do your research, talk to people, but I would absolutely say go to retreat, because it's an exceptional way to be introduced to yoga. There were so many women here in our retreat who don't do yoga. And men who don't do yoga. And they came, and I bet if you ask them, they will all say they got something out of it. Yeah. So definitely try. Do your research, find one that you think would suit you, But it's so much more than just 2 or 3 yoga classes a day, or 1 if you want, or none that day if you don't want. Yeah.
I can't thank you enough for taking part in this podcast. My hope is always that listeners will be able to gain something out of it. So I thank you because, I've got to know you guys a little bit deeper. I've got to learn things as well to add to my own practice. And my heart is full. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
Oh, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you for joining us here at the Bodhi Tree Yoga Resort and listening to this open, nourishing conversation with Michele and Sabine. Their stories remind us how yoga extends far beyond the mat, bringing steadiness to busy days, helping us reconnect with ourselves, softening our homes, and even creating calm that our pets can feel. I'm your host, Jackie Vandertoon, and if today's episode resonated with you, please like, follow, or subscribe to The Inner Practice so you can join us for future episodes. This podcast is sponsored by Jackie Vandertoon Therapy, supporting healing, mindfulness, and personal transformation through yoga therapy and athletic therapy, and compassionate connection. Until next time, may you carry with you the serenity of the jungle, the imagined rhythm of ocean waves, and the warmth of self-compassion, guiding you back to your inner practice, wherever you may go.